We're really excited about the launch of the News Minute. It launched last Wednesday, and it's a show that's meant to just give you a quick wrap-up of the things that we think are important for you to be paying attention throughout the day. It's released 3 times a day at 6 a.m., at noon, and 6 p.m. The idea being we know there's so much in this ocean, we want to be able to bubble it for you so you can see these are the 3 things we think you should pay attention throughout the day. As you're going to see as you're surfing around the internet, you're going to see a lot of information, and it's just kind of going to cue you that you should be paying attention to that. And what we really like about the Minute is it's not just hard news. It's 2 news stories that could come from anywhere within the paper. It may not necessarily be a headline piece of news, but it's something that we think is important. Then the third one will typically be something that's a little lighter and kind of more fun to end on a more entertaining note. So it kind of just is a quick experience, a 1-minute experience of what we think is happening today that you should pay attention to.
Cool, and that's surfaced up to the app as well, and this website?
Yeah. I think the thinking about it is that it's very shareable, perfect to look at on mobile. So we great to distribute. We have a couple distribution partners, including Hulu and others that we're still talking to that are looking really promising. We feel there's other products like that, of course, out in the world, but we felt a New York Times version of it would be something that could easily kind of come surface to the top, and we're the best place to be able to execute that. And I think in terms of the video unit and what you're seeing as a result of the growth of the current video unit is you're able to see that we have growth both in both in editing and in all the post-production that surrounds that. So we're able to do things much more quickly with more quick turnaround. We're able to do graphics and we're able to do animation. And you see that within this Minute. It's a beautifully designed piece of content that really does the best job kind of elevating those things that are important.
How has mobile affected the business, either editorial, or what are the opportunities around mobile video for you guys?
It's such a great question, and it's huge, and I think the Times Minute really reflects that appetite on mobile because it's the perfect thing to consume on mobile, and we're seeing just like everybody else's tremendous growth in viewing videos on mobile across all demographics. And so we want to continue to be able to make content that makes sense on mobile, considering that people don't have as much time, so we felt like a Minute in this case really makes sense. And also when you're viewing on mobile, be able to find something that interests you in that moment. So it's part of that idea, you want to be able to watch what you want to watch anytime, anywhere. And so the content we're making, we're really thinking about that.
Cool, and tell us about the growth of the unit of your organization. I hear you've been hiring and building up. Tell us about sort of the growth of the business around video here and kind of where things are going.
The growth has been tremendous, and we have a lot of support. There's a big push within the company. It's one of the biggest initiatives that we're running right now is around video. There's just a tremendous opportunity to mine what Jill Abramson will call this buffet of stories that we sit on. So we have, from my perspective, so much amazing IP that's bubbling right here. In other companies, it's harder. You have to actually have people come pitch to you and bring their content to you. But here, we're sitting on top of one of the best content generators probably in the world. So as we want to be able to have the video department build in such a way that we can best capitalize on the best stories that we think make sense for video. So for me, that had to do with we had excellent filmmakers already here, video journalists here, but being able to give them better connection with the editorial, better connection with the desks. So one of the things we've done is we have more senior producers that are responding to the desk very immediately, working very closely with them to identify projects that make sense for video. And then as I spoke about earlier, the idea of a post-production unit, that we can actually put something through post-production and really get a nice, finished, executed piece that really fits in the tone and voice of everything else we do here.
And what are the opportunities around monetization? So obviously there's a high CPM. There's also sort of sponsored series. What's the range of opportunities for advertisers?
I think, like everybody else, we're continuing to build and discover there and innovate there. Microsoft was the launch partner on Times Minute, which is fantastic. And we're looking for more of those opportunities where we have a single sponsor on a particular show. One of the things that the growth of the video department's been able to do is to be able to produce actual shows. So we have a programming bucket that we continue to refill. And so we can able to have better conversations, cleaner conversations with our advertisers to be able to say, if you're interested in fashion, then we have Intersection. That's a great program that you may want to sponsor. Or if you're interested in technology, we have an App Smart program that you may want. So I think we're really developing under a lot of different content categories and making sure we have original programming within each of those that are available for sponsorship.
And let me ask you about syndication. You mentioned Hulu. What are the opportunities for the New York Times? I mean, you guys have such a massive footprint and this huge site, but of course there's a bigger world out there through syndication. You know a little bit about that. What is what are the opportunities around syndication or sort of the wider universe for New York Times content?
I think it's a tremendous opportunity that we're only now just starting to dig in. We've just obviously expanded even more internationally, so it opens up that entire part of distribution and syndication. And we really believe, you know, we're talking to all of the major portals about partnerships, and really, it's a very new initiative for us. A lot of most of our content up until now has really been consumed on the site, and we know that there's a lot of people that recognize our content that may not be subscribers, but would recognize it no matter where they're spending time. We want to make sure our beacons of content is getting to where they are. So we're very agnostic about where we distribute to, and really going out there pretty full force right now to get our content out. I think it's important to have video that's accompanying an article that's really adding more to that story. So it's not about going back and repeating the same story that you just read. It's about offering video that's going to enhance the experience that you're in right now. So whether or not we're taking something and taking a historic look back on whatever the event is that we're discussing, or we're getting something that's kind of tangentially related to that, it should feel like you're getting more out of that experience. And I also feel it's also important that video has a life on its own as well. So it has to be able to add more context within the article that you're reading, but we should be able to take that video away from that article and distribute that video on its own. So I think to us that's our big challenge, is getting content makes sense within the article but also makes sense, you know, away from that article as well.